of our show, Dick Clark.
Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there.
Nowadays, the development of the internet has gradually left old things behind. Will you still smile remembering a time when everyone believed advertisements claiming cigarettes were harmless, or when the whole family watched movies outdoors in their cars on Sundays? Today, join us to discover 20 things that have disappeared forever from the 1960s in this nostalgic video. In the 1960s, American small screens and airwaves were flooded with highly persuasive cigarette advertisements. Tobacco companies at that time spent huge sums of money to produce sophisticated advertisements, with the sole aim of instilling in viewers' minds the idea that smoking was not only a harmless habit, but also a symbol of excitement and class. Images of elegant models, famous actors, or captivating everyday stories created a completely misleading picture of the actual effects of tobacco on human health. As scientific studies began to reveal the link between tobacco and dangerous diseases, public awareness gradually changed, but tobacco companies stubbornly reacted by releasing misleading advertisements, trying to lessen consumer concerns. Although cigarette sales showed signs of decline, advertisers still fiercely competed to promote new filter cigarette brands, while television advertising continued to avoid the health issues that were increasingly being publicized. It was not until the late 1960s that the U.S. Congress intervened strongly, issuing a ban on cigarette advertising on radio and television, effective from early 1971. This was a significant milestone, ending an era of free cigarette advertising and opening a new chapter in the fight against tobacco for public health.
I'm worried. I've heard reports that thousands of persons will be killed or injured on your highways this Christmas.
Public service announcements, or PSAs, became a familiar and important part of American television cartoon programs. These were not just short films, but also meaningful educational messages designed to convey moral values and civic responsibility in a gentle and easy-to-understand way for young audiences. One of the most famous examples is the message about forest fire prevention, with the legendary character Smokey Bear, who always reminded everyone with his familiar saying, "Only you can prevent forest fires." These PSAs had the noble goal of teaching children the importance of caring for the environment, protecting nature, and developing a sense of responsible citizenship. Cartoons, with their strong appeal to children, became an effective channel for sharing positive lessons and necessary social values, shaping the awareness of a generation. This was a creative educational method, helping children not only to be entertained, but also to learn useful things about the world around them. Today, we no longer encounter images of pregnant women casually smoking, but in the 1960s, this sight was quite common across the United States. At that time, understanding of the unpredictable harms of smoking during pregnancy was still very limited, and there were even doctor-endorsed advertisements implicitly asserting that it was a completely normal and harmless act. These misleading messages, combined with the lack of comprehensive and reliable studies, led many expectant mothers to believe that maintaining the habit of smoking was acceptable. People had not yet realized that each cigarette not only directly affected the mother, but also seriously impacted fetal development, causing long-term consequences. However, later, with the advancement of science and medicine, studies clearly showed that smoking during pregnancy significantly increases the risk of miscarriage, premature birth, and especially contributes to other serious problems such as low birth weight babies or health issues from birth. The change in perception and subsequent health education campaigns transformed this sight into a thing of the past, a reminder of what was once accepted when medical knowledge was limited. No toy could match the popularity of Uncle Milton's ant farm for American children in the 1960s. This toy created a real craze, becoming an indispensable part of millions of children's childhoods. The product was heavily advertised in comic books and children's magazines, attracting the attention of many parents and children. With sales reaching 20 million sets, Uncle Milton's ant farm affirmed its position as a pop culture phenomenon. What was special was that after purchasing this product, users had to patiently send a separate request to receive 25 live ants in a small glass jar, and this process often took several weeks to complete. The feeling of eagerly waiting for the ants to arrive home and getting to build a small world for them with their own hands brought endless joy. Although Uncle Milton's ant farm is still sold today, its true craze peaked in the 1960s, a time when the wonder of the natural world was discovered right in the living room of every family. In the 1960s, when gasoline prices were very low and automobiles had become common in most American families, long drives became a favorite family entertainment activity. Relaxing Sunday afternoon drives, exploring peaceful countryside or picturesque scenic areas were a popular pastime. Families often spent this precious time escaping the city's hustle and bustle, breathing fresh air, and enjoying the beauty of nature. Additionally, many families took longer trips to state parks or the coast, turning these trips into meaningful short vacations. Another cost-effective pleasure, while also offering maximum comfort, was watching movies at drive-in theaters right from their own cars. These were memorable evenings when the whole family gathered in their private space, enjoying a movie under the starry sky. These trips were not just a means of transportation, but also an opportunity for family members to bond, share joyful moments, and create unforgettable memories of a simpler yet warm era. Do you remember any special family trips from your childhood? Share your memories in the comments below. For children growing up in the 1960s, the American Bandstand program, hosted by Dick Clark, was not just an ordinary television show, but an unmissable cultural phenomenon, a channel connecting them to the rhythm of music and fashion trends. As a launching pad for many new talents, American Bandstand helped discover and bring the names of many great artists closer to the public, such as Smokey Robinson with his captivating love songs, Stevie Wonder with his powerful voice, the unique duo Sonny and Cher, and Tina Turner with her explosive energy. The show did not just stop at introducing songs, but was also a school for popular dances, teaching audiences the trending moves on the dance floor, from the vibrant The Locomotion to the spontaneous The Mashed Potato. In the mid-20th century, especially in rural areas and small towns where telecommunications infrastructure was not yet widespread, the use of party lines was very common. Unlike today's individual phone systems, a party line could be shared by multiple families, creating a unique community communication network. Each house on the same line would have a distinct ring pattern to identify calls meant for their family, but what was remarkable was that everyone on the line could hear each other's conversations. This sometimes led to awkward situations and, naturally, caused significant concerns about personal privacy. Private conversations could be overheard by neighbors, creating an atmosphere that was both close-knit and lacking in security. However, as telecommunications technology advanced dramatically, individual phone lines became more common, offering absolute privacy and convenience for every family. As a result, party lines gradually disappeared, and people could make calls without the entire neighborhood eavesdropping. Today, we are accustomed to multi-digit phone numbers, but from the 1930s to the 1960s, dialing telephone numbers was completely different from the digitized system we are familiar with today. Instead of using only simple numbers, phone numbers often began with a specific name, such as Adams 51234. The first two letters of this name would correspond to the first two digits on the telephone keypad, creating a unique combination of letters and numbers. More interestingly, these names were not merely a part of the phone number, but also indicated the city area where the person lived. For example, a DAMS could indicate a specific area in the city, helping the caller easily locate the recipient's geographical position. However, in the 1960s, the large telephone company decided to switch to an all-numeric system, a move to standardize and modernize the telecommunications network. This change met with strong opposition from some groups, such as the Anti-Digit Dialing League, who felt that the new system would diminish the personalization and identity of geographical areas. Nevertheless, this transition paved the way for the modern, simpler, and more efficient dialing system that we still use today. Before the era of Google Maps and digital navigation applications, Americans in the 1960s had to rely on a myriad of different methods to find their way, a journey requiring meticulousness and keen observation skills. They often used large paper maps, spread out over the steering wheel or on their laps, carefully following each road and landmark. Recording detailed directions from services like MapQuest was also a common habit, with handwritten or printed sheets of paper carefully preserved to avoid getting lost. When difficulties arose, not hesitating to ask local residents was always an effective solution, relying on their experience and knowledge of the area. Additionally, looking for prominent landmarks and paying special attention to road signs were essential skills to ensure they reached their destination. In a world without automated voice directions, traditional map reading skills became incredibly important, helping them not only reach their destination, but also understand the terrain and routes better. It was a real adventure on every road before everything was just a tap away on a screen. Manual typewriters were an indispensable tool in every office and many homes in the 1960s, and one of the most important components for them to work was the ink ribbon. Similar to changing printer ink cartridges today, ink ribbons could not be used indefinitely and needed to be replaced when the ink ran out. This ribbon replacement process was often quite messy, requiring dexterity and care, because the black ink on the ribbon was very easy to get on hands or stain clothes if not careful. Many people still remember the feeling of ink-stained hands after each ribbon change. This was a completely different experience from typing on our clean and modern computer keyboards today, where every operation is neat and leaves no trace. Although changing ribbons could be troublesome, it was an inseparable part of using a typewriter, a process that modern computer users may never understand. Like and share the video to continue discovering interesting things ahead. 1961 became a memorable year in American baseball history, witnessing a dramatic and exciting competition between two legendary stars of the New York Yankees, Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. Both players aimed to break Babe Ruth's record of 60 home runs in a single season, a legendary milestone that had stood for decades. Throughout the season, fans and the press closely followed every hit by Maris and Mantle, creating a vibrant and expectant atmosphere. Each of their home runs was wildly celebrated, pushing the race to its climax. And then, on October 1st, in the final game of the fateful season, Roger Maris made history by hitting his 61st home run against the Boston Red Sox. That moment was not just a personal victory, but also a pinnacle in baseball history, an event forever etched in the hearts of fans. Before photocopiers became a common and accessible device as they are today, carbon paper was an indispensable tool for making copies of handwritten or typed documents, a simple yet extremely effective method. Using carbon paper was quite straightforward. A sheet of carbon paper would be placed between the original document and the blank sheet used for copying. When the user wrote or typed on the original document, the pressure from the pen or typewriter key would transfer ink or an impression from the carbon paper onto the blank sheet below, creating an accurate copy. This method was widely used in offices, schools, and even in families to create important copies of contracts, letters, or other administrative documents. Although not as fast or convenient as modern photocopiers, carbon paper was once a smart and cost-effective solution for document copying before the advent of digitalization. Encyclopedias were not just ordinary sets of books, but vast treasuries of knowledge, the primary source material for all research activities of students in the past era. These thick printed volumes, filled with detailed information on every field from history and science to art, arranged alphabetically, were indispensable companions in every library and many homes. Finding information in these books required patience and considerable time, as readers had to turn page after page, search for keywords, and carefully read related entries. This was a hands-on learning process, offering a completely different experience from quickly looking up information with a single click on the internet today. Each time an encyclopedia was opened, it was an intellectual adventure where readers not only found answers, but also inadvertently discovered many other interesting facts. Encyclopedias nurtured the spirit of inquiry and the ability to explore, an important skill in an era before information exploded. Back in the 1960s, television stations did not broadcast continuously 24/7 as they do today. Instead, they often had a familiar ritual of signing off and ceasing broadcasting at the end of the day, marking the end of a workday. After broadcasting the last program of the day, instead of switching to non-stop streaming channels, the screen would display the national anthem or a test pattern to announce that it was time to rest. This was a very familiar ritual, an indispensable part of people's daily lives at that time. The solemn sound of the national anthem or the static image of a test pattern on the screen became a signal that the day had closed, encouraging everyone to go to bed. The idea of TV channels shutting down at night sounds very strange to today's generation, who are accustomed to countless streaming options continuously, non-stop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is a clear testament to the major changes in entertainment habits and television technology over the decades.
Never before have so many children and youth crowded into our classrooms.
In the 1960s, Filmstrip projectors were a common and indispensable teaching tool in American schools. These projectors looked somewhat like early film projectors, but were simpler, easier to use in a classroom setting. The projector would display still images from a narrow film strip onto a large screen, often accompanied by captions or text to supplement the lecture. Teachers would manually advance each frame, simultaneously explaining the lesson content in detail and vividly. Although this process was much slower than modern digital presentations today, at the time, it was considered advanced technology, helping to convey knowledge effectively. These film strips covered a variety of topics, from fascinating history lessons to complex scientific knowledge, turning each lesson into an exciting journey of discovery. Do you have any memories of this projector? Comment below and share with us. The image of milkmen regularly delivering fresh milk in glass bottles to doorsteps was a familiar and beloved sight throughout neighborhoods. The milk bottles were often neatly placed in a special box to keep them cold and preserved. This was a convenient and reliable source of milk, helping housewives save time and effort without having to go to the market frequently to buy milk. The glass bottles not only helped preserve milk better, but could also be reused, which contributed to environmental protection, a concept that we are truly emphasizing today. Although daily milk delivery has almost completely disappeared in the era of supermarkets and convenience stores, the memory of milkmen remains a beautiful nostalgia for a simpler and more convenient time.
You're looking at the world's most popular soft drink with the new aluminum pull-open top.
In the early 1960s, the introduction of soft drink cans with pull tabs brought unprecedented convenience, allowing people to easily open cans without the need for an opener. However, the initial design of these pull tabs caused a significant environmental problem. When opened, the tab would completely detach from the can body. This led to serious littering, as many people simply threw these small tabs on the ground or in the street, polluting the landscape and harming the environment. These pull tabs were scattered everywhere, from parks and beaches to roadsides, becoming a major concern for hygiene and urban aesthetics. To remedy this problem and reduce waste, manufacturers researched and developed a new design, a pull tab attached to the can. This improved design meant the tab no longer completely detached. Instead, it remained on the can body after opening. Before the era of electronic calculators, offices around the world used a special device to perform complex calculations, adding machines with paper rolls. These machines were quite large and bulky, with no display screen or work storage capability like modern computers today. Instead, numbers and calculation results would be printed on a continuous, long paper roll, looking like an endlessly extending receipt. This meant that every calculation operation was clearly recorded on paper, creating a work history that users could review. However, if a small error was made during the calculation, there was no delete button to fix it. The user was forced to restart the entire process from the beginning. Despite certain limitations, this was the best and most effective tool for performing calculations in an office environment before the digital age changed everything. Record players were not just ordinary music playback devices, but versatile tools in the 1960s. This device was equipped with a speed change feature to match different types of records, providing an optimal music experience. Each type of vinyl record was produced to play at a specific speed, and choosing the correct speed was a key factor for the music to be played perfectly and faithfully. There were three main speeds that record players needed to be aware of. 33 RPM was used for regular albums containing many songs and having a long playback duration. The 45 RPM speed was for singles, usually with one or two hit songs, designed for quick playback and popularizing hit tracks. Finally, the 78 RPM speed was used for truly classic vinyl records, often recordings from the early decades of the 20th century. Understanding and adjusting the correct speed was a basic skill for music lovers of that time, ensuring that each melody was enjoyed fully, exactly as the artist intended. No vehicle was more wonderful and stylish than bicycles with towering handlebars and banana-shaped seats, looking like miniature chopper motorcycles. First produced by Schwinn in 1963, these bicycles quickly became the dream of every child in the neighborhood. Children loved them not only for their unique appearance, but also for many other practical reasons. The comfortable, cushioned seat was wide enough to carry more than one person, creating memorable rides with friends. The high handlebars gave a feeling of freedom and coolness, making every child feel like a real racer on the road. However, as the BMX bicycle trend began to gain widespread popularity in the 1970s, with a dynamic design better suited for stunts, banana seat bicycles gradually became outdated. Yet, the baby boomers generation could never believe that any other bicycle would provide a more ideal childhood. In a world without instant messaging or social media, letter writing became an extremely important and common means of communication, especially for young people. Far from our current era, when a light tap on the phone can send a multitude of messages instantly, people at that time would sit down, pick up a pen and paper to carefully express their thoughts and feelings. Each letter was not merely about conveying information, it was a personal, sincere, and emotional way to connect with friends and family. The process of writing a letter, from choosing words and structuring sentences to carefully addressing and mailing it, all require time and effort. The feeling of anticipation while waiting for a reply from loved ones, or the excitement of receiving a letter in the mailbox, was an indispensable part of this experience. The art of letter writing played an important role in nurturing relationships, preserving beautiful memories, and creating deep, lasting connections over time. In the 1960s, using a hose to wash the driveway was a common and routine habit for many families, considered a simple and effective method to remove accumulated dust and stains. This process typically involves using a strong stream of water from the hose to rinse away debris, dry leaves, and stains on the driveway surface, keeping the outdoor space clean and tidy. This was part of household chores, both for hygiene and providing a relaxing feeling on cool afternoons. However, in the current era, this habit has been significantly restricted due to increasing concerns about water waste, especially in the context of climate change and resource scarcity. Instead, people are encouraged to use more water-saving methods, such as sweeping with a broom or using electric pressure washers, which are much more efficient in cleaning without wasting precious water resources. Soda fountains were not just places to enjoy drinks, but also vibrant social centers where friends gathered, shared stories, and created memorable moments in the 1960s. Often located inside pharmacies or small diners, these soda fountains were equipped with a long counter with shiny stools and a professional soda jerk. They could mix countless types of drinks from various flavored syrups, allowing customers to customize their beverages according to personal preferences. The place was filled with laughter, lively conversations, and an intimate atmosphere, turning every gathering into a fun and relaxing experience. Although soda fountains later gradually gave way to the development of modern coffee shops and fast food chains, the nostalgic atmosphere and beautiful memories of 1960s soda fountains still linger in the hearts of many. It was a unique cultural part, a symbol of community connection in a simpler and closer era.
The big stick is here. It's the hop rod, the world's first.
Pogo sticks were not just ordinary toys, but extremely popular items passionately loved by American children in the 1960s. With a simple structure consisting of a sturdy metal pole, 2 small footrests, and a spring at the bottom, this stick brought endless joy to millions of children as they could jump up and down with delight. The real challenge of this game lay in mastering the rhythm and maintaining balance to continue bouncing without falling, requiring skillful coordination and persistence. Each time jumping higher, balancing longer, brought pride and excitement to the player. Pogo sticks were not only entertaining toys, but also skills to be honed, helping to develop children's dexterity and physical fitness. This was a cherished part of childhood, a beautiful memory of summer afternoons filled with laughter and exciting acrobatics. Finally, a unique and popular hobby that offered a completely different form of shopping reward compared to today's digital loyalty programs: collecting green stamps. It wasn't about postage stamps with images of celebrities or places, but special stamps you could receive when shopping. Customers would get these stamps as a reward for making purchases at certain stores. These small stamps had value like a special currency, which could be exchanged for various household items, from electronics and kitchenware to even furniture. People would carefully keep these stamps in small booklets, arranging and counting them meticulously until they collected enough to redeem for their desired gift. The thrill of sticking each stamp into the booklet, then eagerly waiting for the day to have enough points to redeem a gift, was a very exciting experience. This was a creative and tangible way to turn everyday shopping into a treasure hunt adventure, bringing joy and excitement to consumers in an era when reward programs were not yet as developed as they are today. Through these stories, we not only look back at a past decade, but also feel the rhythm of life, the values, and the simple joys of a generation. Each item, each habit, contains a piece of memory, a piece of history. We hope this journey back in time has brought you many emotions. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on exciting trips to the past with us.